Hi. I'm aware that it's been a year and I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. So yeah, this is my series called Random Object Making, just speed cuts of me making object assets. If you want to learn how to make one too, check out my playlist with tutorials on how to make and animate your very own character. The first character for today's this portable watermelon cooler I found a long time ago, but because I low-key didn't reverse image search it until like 3 minutes ago, I just called it the melon transporter. Let's just get right into it. Now, a question you guys might have is probably, where have you been? And apart from educational obligations popping up every single time I even thought of making a new video, there's a bigger reason I've been keeping from you guys. I stopped liking object shows for a bit. There really isn't any crazy reason, I just don't feel obligated to keep with shows that often, if at all. Maybe my attention span is completely fried or something. I think what got me a little bit back into it was BFDIT, probably because I prefer simpler stuff. Let's talk about this handle. At first you'll see me try making it by filling in and shading a gray box, but there is a better way to make thinner objects like handles. Lines. First, use the line or paintbrush tool to draw the handle's shape. Increase the line thickness. Hit the Convert to Fills button in the Properties window. And use the Ink Bottle tool to add an outline to the shape. For the melon, since it has a pattern on it, instead of shading it by manually darkening each color, I simply added a transparent layer with a dark blue shadow on top. Speaking of simple, the asset is done by the way, wasn't anything too crazy, but let me know if I should try more complex assets later on, just so I can tell you guys more about the creation process. Now for our first recommended character. Let's see what we can do. I was originally gonna base the design off a slice from a high angle, but because the most visible difference between the different kinds of steak is the inside, it made more sense to portray the slice from the side to show that she is in fact well done. I added some texture using the different stroke styles, specifically the weird looking tapered one. I also used a tapered stroke style to break up the highlight to add a bit more texture. I was originally just gonna stop at the meat, but so that it was a bit more clear that she was food and not a plank of wood or something, I also added the baked bean and garnish on top. As you can see here, I'm doing the same line to fill method for the garnish as well. Sometimes the outlines may end up a little wonky, but you can use the sub-selection tool to manually adjust the wonky points. Dune. Thank you to Hamon for recommending this character, and sorry if the text-to-speech butchered your name. Our next character is coming right up. Pause. When designing this asset, I had to keep Sippy Cup from open source objects in mind because I did not want my asset to be identical to hers. Instead, I went for one with an indented kind of shape. Low-key, I was gonna include the big elf handles on the sides, but because I thought it'd make it just look wide and weird, I just left them out. Let me know if this was the worst mistake of my life, though. Now, I have a question. Should clear plastic have shading? I feel like they wouldn't, but the asset just felt a little flat with just highlights, so I gave it shadows anyway. If you want to make assets too, this is why references are crucial. As you are seeing now, I'm using the tapered lines again to depict the water. But on an unrelated note, the blue water didn't look as cohesive with the top part. Now, I could just manually change each color, but why do that when I could do this? I hope the face I drew doesn't look too big, I just wanted to emphasize that whining look. Speaking of big, I went back to Melon Transporter's asset to make the lines a little thinner. For some reason, I made the line size 4 instead of 3. Anyways, boom. Thank you to Very for submitting this character. Let me know what you guys think of these little guys, and also tell me if this editing style was a nice addition or not. I feel like it's more visually engaging, but would take longer to churn out. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click the Google Forms link in the description to suggest a character I should make next, and click the Google Drive link to get the files for these assets. Bye.